You are now listening to the Electric Dreamz Podcast.
Oh, I know that you'll be fine.
What's up, buddy? What's going on, bro? How's everything?
Been good, man. Just trying to keep myself sane during this quarantine.
Yeah, dude, that is one thing we definitely need to talk about. But fuck, man, dude, I think the last time we talked was at the studio, right? At Dan's studio.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was so cool. So, what was cool? I think the first time I met you, Chris, was I think it was Bay City. I think so. Did you go to you were at Bay City, right?
Yeah, we helped run it during Octave. I'm surprised you were there.
Yeah. I was with Tori. So Tori kind of like, she was, hey, we're having an event, let's go. So I think it was the first time. That was kind of like the first time I met, like, when you were like before the whole management, when you were like, when you guys were the Octave and stuff, and it was like, it was so cool. So like, man, dude, it was just crazy how like you came from like that to now where you're at right now. Like was Octave like the first like part where you started to the whole entertainment industry, or were you in it before?
So the interesting story was I actually started off as a nightclub promoter in Old Town Scottsdale.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to be a part of the business somehow, like in entertainment and in music, but I just didn't know where to start or how to get my foot in the door. So I was part of Greek life at ASU, and one of our fraternity sweethearts just came up to me one day and said, hey, I love the events that you host. I love what you do. Why don't you try out and get a job here? And I tried the trial run, as they called it, where I had a certain amount of people and just show them a good time, just feed them drinks all night and just have a blast with them. The first night, I was absolutely awful.
Yeah? How many people did you get on the door?
Yeah, we were supposed to have a minimum of 10 people per promoter, but I only been one.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Then I talked to the guy who's in charge of the VIP hosting, and I said, hey, I'm doing this. I've never really done this before. Is there like a playbook or something that worked for you in the past? And he just threw me some tips and tricks, and every night after that he gave me another shot, and more people came out every single night after that until I ended up becoming in charge of some of the party buses and making sure that all of the kids were like going to the clubs and getting home safely.
Yeah.
And from there, that is when my buddy Kalen Tyler, who is a big DJ in Old Town Scottsdale, came to me with an opportunity. He said, hey, my buddy Jason's starting an entertainment company, and he's looking for people for graphic design and building his website. And I was really skeptical at first. I didn't know what to expect. I'd never met him before. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and after a night of just shooting the shit with him I think we talked for like 2 hours or something. And he gave me his business card before he left, and I still have that business card today.
No shit. That's funny. You should post that. You should be like, tag Jason. That would be so funny. Like your business card.
Like his name in my phone is still like from the old company he used to work for, like his day job. So
that's funny.
From there, I think I do remember bumping into you at Bay City, but so much.
It was brief.
Yeah.
So brief.
I was like in charge of like getting people water and making sure the sound and visuals were running. And I spent the whole day with Dak Daniels that day, just driving him around, making sure he got all the shit that he needed. And that was probably like our biggest moment as a group, saying, wow, we were the first to throw an event in that space. And where no one was doing that, and no one was like getting that hype as quickly as it was. So it was a lot of learning, but it was very at the same time.
Do you think that helped you to become where you're at right now? Like the whole like little stuff, like just like even like getting the water, just kind of like you see that when you like working with Wash of how to like construct their schedules or just like due dates and stuff. Do you feel like that's helped you throughout your career?
Oh, absolutely. Because I think when most people say, oh, I want to manage someone, and they just dive in head first and they don't have that much experience, it's a little bit of a challenge. But
Yeah.
because I had the experience of event planning when I was in college and actually working behind the scenes in the clubs and at shows, it gave me that perspective saying that, oh, all of these little details matter into making it successful. So just learning more about those details and knowing how you could improve at the same time, because that's one thing about the music industry is that you constantly have to learn new things every single day.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Everything changes. It could change overnight. And being ahead of the game and just knowing what to do in certain situations, it helps out a lot.
Okay. Well, with that, even like when you're saying ahead of the game, especially this crisis, it kind of sucks because like everything's shut down currently. Nothing's really opening up anytime soon. What do you think would be a best bet for, let's say, an artist to do right now besides live streaming? Like when I mean like live streaming is like DJ sets, because right now there's so many of it. What do you think? What would be a kind of tip if you have that could branch out for artists right now that's trying to make it in the live stream?
So something that I've been telling people, not just in social media, but on different platforms, is just if there was any time to just hunker down and figure out the plans for the future, this is it.
Yeah.
Everything cut down. Don't have to worry about what's happening next. But as far as the social media side, it's just about honestly finding creative ways to interact with your audience and make them not only connect with you as an artist, but as a person too. Because if you, like, for example, like if you have a favorite artist, why do you keep going back to them? And it's not just the music. It might be their personality. It might be the way they carry themselves, their mannerisms, something that relates to the audience in a way. Like, how would you express yourself to an audience that has no idea who you are? So maybe, and this was actually a good example too, the main singer last week or a couple weeks back from the band All Time Low, he live streamed, but at the same time he did an acoustic set and he was just playing different songs on his guitar, and he was asking his audience, hey, what song do you want me to play next?
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, your favorite song, what do you guys want to hear? And there was spamming comment for 10 minutes and he's like, oh, okay, let's pick this one. And he just finds the chords for it and just jams out as much as he can.
I think that's a fucking genius idea right now. Like, especially because like think about like even this live podcast, like you can interact with people in the comments below and just ask like what they're curious about and stuff. And I think right now it's like the best way to take advantage of it, since everybody's kind of in home. Might as well take advantage of it as an artist and stuff. And like, especially if we're inside, do you feel like, do you kind of, are you still traveling to work, or are you working from home?
So I'm working from home right now, and
okay,
ways to stay busy.
Okay. Do you feel like it kind of affects your mental health sometimes? Like, I know like some people are just like going AWOL right now, and it's only been a month of this shit. So it's like, do you feel like, has it affected you slightly, or was there a moment that you were kind of like, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on? Like you were kind of breaking down.
Yeah, there's, I'm not going to lie. There were, I think, a day or two where I was just completely in my own head, and I was just like, what's going to happen? Like, we don't know how long we're going to be here. And it's a toll on your health mentally, why it's important for you to like find ways to just disconnect from the news, especially because people don't anymore. So if you can just disconnect from social media, even for an hour or even like a day, and just take time, maybe meditate or just work out, just if you have roommates, interact with them. And because that contact with people is very important, especially in times like these, not only so that we don't lose touch with each other, but just so that we can genuinely be there for one another and let them know, hey, I still care about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like that's the most important thing, is about kind of bringing connection and stuff, and kind of being like face to face, even though it's like you and I are like virtual? Do you think it's important to kind of be face to face, especially like for a client? Like, for instance, let's say you're looking for a future client, and you prefer more face to face rather than through the web, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that face-to-face interaction is much more meaningful than just texting somebody or sending an email, because you can dodge and just ignore. But if you maybe call someone on the phone or FaceTime them or just meet them in person, they're more likely to not bail on you.
Yeah, for sure. Especially you're waiting for them. They're like, what the fuck? Where you guys at? I'm like, oh, I'm still home. It's like, shit. That's funny.
Been like 6 hours, why hasn't he replied? But yeah, face-to-face interaction if you can, because that way you have a better way of connecting with people on a personal level.
For sure. And now, big question: how'd you meet Wash? I don't know if we've talked about it before, but I was curious how you met those guys. Was it through like a gig, or was it like an event?
Yeah, so it was through an event that Octave threw. I think it was July 2018. We were throwing an event at a place called Bar Smith in downtown Phoenix, and we were hosting a 2-floor venue, so we had our own night, and we were hosting different DJs on the first floor. And we just came up on Wash, and they already had music playing, and they had the image all ready to go. And as soon as their set came on, my mind was blown. In my mind, I was just, "Fuck is this?"
Yeah. Explain it to the people what their outfits is, because it's fucking insane. It's the most insane outfits ever. I think it's so cool.
So these guys, they're dressed up as two very maniacal or they're just these off the wall characters. Their names are Ducky and Puddles, and their helmets,
coolest fucking name.
Their helmets are insane. They just took these two old motorcycle helmets and just completely they put lasers in the eyes. They made the eyes glow. And they wanted the people that we worked with to fabricate them. We wanted to have smoke come out of the bills, but that was a little.
Get the fuck out of here. That'd be insane.
Yeah, but the people who helped make the costumes for them, they're incredible, and the ideas that they have behind that was just mind blowing to me. And I remember just sitting in the back of the venue at Bar Smith, just talking with my buddy Jason, who I was working with. And I just talked to him, I'm like, "Hey, is anyone managing these guys?" And he's like, "I don't think." And I just turned to them, I'm, "Damn, I'd love to work with them." And I think later on he remembered that. And when the time came and Wash came to Octave to help them out with their careers, they just made the introduction from there. They're like, "Hey, Chris, this is Wash. Wash, this is Chris. Let's make something happen." And
dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, and ever since then, and when sadly Octave was no more, we were all really bummed out and we didn't know what to do. But I believed in Wash so much and believed in that vision that I said, you know what, I'm going to keep this going. Like, I want to keep pushing them because they have all the tools they need to succeed. All they need is the right opportunity.
No, definitely. You mean after seeing their live stream and the fucking where they went to Cabo for spring break? What the fuck? That thing was insane. I saw those videos. I was like, holy fuck, dude. What is it like touring with those guys? That's one thing.
Oh man, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Blast.
It looks insane.
Like that was my first time out of the country.
So, no shit.
Yeah. And
okay.
Just my first time in Mexico, and the reception was amazing. Like they were on a nice little buzz and they were waiting for the headliners, and they just see these guys in two big duck helmets and yellow tuxes, and they're like, "What is this?" And then they and after like 5 or 10 minutes, they're like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah. They're fucking crazy DJs.
They're a show. You know? And they were like a full production. But that's one thing that I really admire about them, is that they thought so far ahead in this that I really wanted to see that grow. Yeah.
Do you look into that, like in that for an artist? Like for instance, like let's say you want to manage another artist. Do you feel like they have to have like let's see. What is Chris's criteria for being to be managed by you?
Sure.
What do you...
So for me to seriously look at an artist, there's honestly not that much to it. The first thing I look at is how hungry are you to succeed? Like how passionate are you? Or how bad do you want this? Like,
sure.
I forget the name of the lecture that I've watched millions of times when I was playing sports, is that if you want this as bad as you can breathe, then you will be successful. And
Yeah.
just if you have that amount of hunger and drive and passion, that trumps anything, in my opinion. Because if you have that drive, then it's like, okay, then I can be your cheerleader and push you to that. But after that, it's just when it comes to the music, I prefer quality over quantity. Like
Yeah.
like you could have songs on hundreds of labels and just spitfiring what we call now is like the fast food technique, where post a song and hope it sticks, or people are like, oh, this guy's pretty good, maybe I'll just follow him. But they always have to remember the music comes first. Music is the foundation of who you are as an artist. But other than that, it's just how much are you interacting with your audience? How much are you building your fan base without anybody's help? And the most important question that I ask artists is, why do you need a manager? Like, why do you need me?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, oh, because I like the work you do, which is great. But at the same time, some people just say, oh, I just need the extra push and I need the motivation. And I can help you with that. But at the same time, if you don't have that motivation yourself, then there's not much we can go off of.
Oh, for sure. Because imagine you signing something, like, let's say you make a deal with somebody, and in the middle of it, they just go fucking AWOL, and they're just like, I can't do this. It's just too much. You mean, you would be afraid of that, right? Like if you just kind of like get into a client that you at first in the beginning, it sounded like almost like too good of a deal. And then midway, it just like ends in a crash. I think that'd be just the worst. At least for me, that'd be the worst fear to have, is as a manager, is to sign somebody like that. With that, let me see. I don't know, man. It's just like crazy. Like especially right now, it's like it's all about social media, attention to detail and stuff. What other aspect an artist should have besides like social media, music, and all that? Is it I know we were talking about relationships, like when you were meeting Wash together. Do you think that's more important?
Yeah, and something absolutely, and you hit it right on the head there. Especially, then this is not just in music, but in any business in general. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Yeah.
And probably the biggest piece of advice that I've had since I started in this business is 5 words. Support goes a long way.
Yeah, so fucking true.
Yeah, so if you support an artist over a certain amount of time, they're more likely to look at you as a familiar face and they want to support you. But in it for, quick fame or a quick buck, then, no one's going to support you if you're just yourself. So I definitely look at how well artists work with each other and how they build relationships and build that bridge between each other. And I just think that over time, like, you can't just rely on one relationship to keep your career going. You have to that network and build an arsenal of people who believe in you, and they can push that dream forward while you help make the magic happen.
Yeah, it's like I scratch your back, you scratch mine, in a way, kind of like that. I noticed. Yeah, I would agree with that, especially as a producer, starting out a producer, just supporting your tribe. And I definitely think Wash has a tribe. They have a very unique tribe, and I think it's a very strong tribe too. How do you keep that tribe together? Let me ask you a broad question like that.
That's a great question. It's not easy, because especially here, like, even I've been through every single emotion pursuing this. Like, I've been really happy and I've just been absolutely down on myself. But at the same time, you have to keep that motivation and that spirit in the team, or else it's not going to keep going. So it's just about, like, and I'll never forget this, like Jason kept telling me when we were in Octave, just appreciate the small victories. Because that you have those details and that you succeed in that way, when the next opportunity comes, you'll be more prepared and you'll have that support system along the way. So it's just about reminding the team that even though it may seem bleak at times, it's not the end of the world. And it's just about relying on each other to just stay motivated.
No, I love that. People should preach that enjoy the small things, like appreciate the little wins, like the, placements, or like, even just getting the, something simple as like getting the album cover done or single cover done. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people should celebrate a little like that, because you're right. People can stress out. I want to go back to that. Was there a specific moment during this like time that you can recall that it was so fucking frustrating, like you almost second guess yourself, thinking that maybe I shouldn't be doing this? Like, you recall a specific moment in your career that was like, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually wasn't that long ago either. This was about like this time last year.
Oh, no shit.
Man, just managing artists as big as Wash was so new to me at the time that I had to spend like at least between 4 to 6 months just learning about their mannerisms and how their mind works and what their workflow is. And I felt like it wasn't happening fast enough, and really got me down in the dumps. And I'm like, man, I don't know what else to do. But then a buddy of mine, or a former buddy of mine from back home in Wisconsin, who absolutely didn't give a fuck about me, just slid and just like tried ripping me apart and insulting my family after I wouldn't try and get him a gig here. And that was saying that, damn, if he is bold enough to call me out on my shit, whatever you want to call it, then I need to keep this going, not only to prove him wrong, but to prove myself right.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be with this group and help them succeed and help them push themselves. And I just got to say, I mean, this industry is not for everybody.
Yeah, definitely not.
Like, if you can't handle the pressure, or if you don't have the right team or mindset for it, you're going to fall behind. Mm-hmm. And it's really important just to not only stay motivated, but just remember the reason why you started in the first place.
Yeah. Why you bring back that drive that you used to have right when we first started, and just keep going, keep the fire going, like what I say. Yeah, dude, that's pretty shitty that a person fucking did that. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that person. Don't put them in your life. You know what I mean? Probably in this career, you probably met a bunch of people that you're like, yeah, this guy seems a pretty good, nice people. And then later you find out they're just a piece of shit, from the side of the street. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, would you say be choosy with your relationships? Like, see who really fucks with you and who doesn't? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Especially because you're going to meet all kinds of people in your career, and not all of them has the best intentions in mind. And believe it or not, they're going to try and fuck you over. So yeah, it's not, you got to protect yourself first and foremost. And once you get further and further in your career and you start doing better, those people are going to, who the real and fake are. And that way your circle is smaller. You know who really fucks with you at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I think so. Like, especially like, I feel like in your industry too, like as managers, there's like a clique of managers that like you guys talk to each other. You see what's around, what artists are around Phoenix and stuff. And just like, hey, we should look out for this artist and stuff. Would you recommend for like producers like myself, or even like shufflers, to kind of like make their own group, and then that's when they branch out to others? Or what do you recommend to like expand your I guess your relationships?
Yeah, definitely. You could start your own network. That's one way to do it. Maybe you could do a post group on SoundCloud, or you could do a group on Instagram and have them share posts nonstop and get your voice heard. But for me, what worked was just honestly just taking a risk and DMing them on social media. For me, my best outlets to do that are Twitter and Instagram. And Instagram is better for me because, from my view, people's intentions right away before they even talk to you based on how their profile looks. Yeah.
So, that's smart. I didn't even think about that. Like, hit them up on Instagram and just like, because you already have you have their profile there, all their pictures and shit, what they are about, right? Okay.
And one big mistake that a lot of artists do is just they slide into an artist's DMs and give them a link and be like, "Oh, hey, you should listen to my music, like my shit, hope I okay." But it's really just about, like we said, just building that relationship and reaching out and saying, "Hey, I like your stuff, keep doing it, and I'll support you next week." But
Yeah.
and there, that's when they slowly start to come to you and they start genuinely interacting back with you.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's helpful, super helpful, especially starting artists. You know, what I mean, I mean, which is nice these days. You can have, there's so much information of that too. Like you can, you know, you mean, people preaching about it, how to approach artists and stuff. But it's funny how people still do it. Does Wash still get DMs from people like just like, hey, repost my song and all that, or you
All the time.
all the time?
All the time. Like at least every day it happens.
No shit.
Like,
Jesus.
when people find out that you work in music, they'll just spam you and say, "Hey, let's work together." And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's just really the person that you're working with.
Yeah, how you build a relationship, like what you said, just like, you know, how do you guys know each other or not? Let me ask you this, like, what's like the future of you? Do you still want to artist like other managers, or you're looking outside? Do you want to do like, potential like shufflers, or like, what's like the future of Chris Nicholson? Like what, as a manager?
So in the future, once Wash has a more solid, let me back up. Once Wash is more established in the scene, I'm definitely looking to take on more people. And I just SoundCloud and Spotify and Apple Music every single day to see what's new and what people are listening to. Because people want to hear fresh things, because nowadays, especially, like, their attention span is 0. So you have to find different ways to see who's out there and who's genuinely talented and wants to grow. But other than that, it's I would love to get into the label side and maybe start my own label today.
Okay. All right.
Because even when I was part of Octave, I made it clear to everybody's that I would love to work with mostly artists, because I've been there. I've been a starving artist before, not necessarily in music, but in acting way back when. And it's a struggle on your own. So I want to find different ways of creating a platform for artists to not only get their music out, but genuinely express themselves without limits.
Okay. What going back to being an actor, what made you stop pursuing acting? It was just like you kind of knew at that moment, you're like, nah, it's not working for me, or it was just not for you?
Well, I've always wanted to act, and I still do, but I put that dream on hold for a while, is because I started acting on stage back home, and when I came out here, I had this big plan. I'm just like, okay, I live right next to LA, and I can go and audition every week, and it would be great. But then I realized how much that would cost. And
So fucking much.
It's so much money. And then got into the theater program at ASU, and I was acting there, and I got an audition. But the more that I saw that there was so much more out there that we can get involved in, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to pause this and come back to it later.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think it's a very mature mindset too, especially at a young age, just to think like, you know what I mean? That'd be so hard for me, like to be like, you know, oh, I want to be an architect, and you go all the way through your whole career, and you're like, man, I really don't want to do this. You know what I mean? And it's sad because like there's so many people out there that have experienced that. But you mean, lucky for you, I feel like you found your way, you found your niche, you found what, you know, how God has given you to become what you are right now. You know what I mean? I think it's remarkable, dude. You mean, just from like seeing you at Octave and then now where you're at right now, I think, you know, definitely like what you said, you know, enjoy the small things, because I feel like you've done that. You've grown out yourself. I mean, just kind of like going back and forth talking with you, it's just like, it's really cool, dude, to see where you're taking Wash to what they're at right now. It's like, it's awesome, man. It's like, Yeah. Yeah, dude. So it's like I think there's gonna be more for you guys, like more for you. I feel like you have the energy to be better than where you're at right now. Like you're like, fuck, dude, I'm already looking for it. Like, give me 5 more years. I'm gonna, do an old label. You know what I mean? What would excite you about opening a label?
Oh man, it's just listening to the different kinds of music that people make. Because
Yeah.
like, and especially like if you start a label where you're not genre specific, people will send
Hmm.
you and you never know what's out there. Like you could have the next Michael Jackson out there somewhere,
For sure.
or Taylor Swift, or whatever you want to call it. But it's just about digging deep into it and really looking for it. Because like you said earlier, like all the information you need is out there. It's just how hard are you looking and where are you looking?
Hmm.
Just use.
Yeah. And then, do you also find singers like let's go? We should actually go back. What's your day-to-day job as a manager? Like from the morning to like the end of night. Like what is it? What's the life of Chris Nicholson?
Sure. So first thing I do when I wake up is I just check the numbers for Wash on SoundCloud and Spotify and see where they're at, where they can
Hmm.
improve, and just get a game plan in my mind on how we're going to do that. And I always talk to the guys. We talk almost every single day, not only just about music, but just about life in general. Because
Yeah.
if you're all the time, they're just going to have that mindset and be like, oh, this guy's taking us too seriously and we need to do the same thing. But
Mhm.
it's really just about being their number one fan and just supporting them. But after that, I would go through and look at more artists that they could collaborate with, maybe reach out to a manager or two saying, hey, what do you think about this situation? And it's really just mostly just research, research, research.
Hmm.
And then before I go to bed, if I scroll through Spotify and I click on a song and I'm just laying in bed and staring at the ceiling listening to it and just really trying to pick and pinpoint what their strengths are and weaknesses are, and not really reaching out to them just yet, but keeping an eye on them. And if things start to take off from there, then I just make a note, and eventually later down the road, we could try and do something.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the process of like the day to day. Are you ever at the creativeness? Like, do you ever like go in their studio sessions and stuff like that, or that's more like separate? That's like what you normally don't go into.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every chance I get, I'm in the studio with them
Yeah.
because not only do I want to be a part of them on the business side, I want to see how creative they are and what new ideas they have. Because,
Hmm.
and there was a couple of songs that I worked on with them last year. They made a couple of mid-tempo songs, and I have never heard a sound like that before from them anyway. And they
Yeah.
just be upside down, and I just looked at the songs like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. Getting those
Like,
chills and stuff. You're just like, holy fuck, this is so insane.
your hair stands on end and everything.
Yeah. I mean,
Just really like pushing new ideas with them is the best part about being in the studio with them and saying, oh, that's cool, but maybe what if you tried it this way? But
mhm.
not dream or their vision, but just trying to tweak it and make it work for them.
No, I think it's very important to have that. Like, Tori, she's my manager. I'll send her stuff and see, because it's good to have an ear that's not technical. You know what I mean? You just have an ear for good music.
Absolutely.
So you can tell us like, oh, you mean that sounds really good. Oh, that sounds weird. So then we technically fix it. But I think it's so good that I think managers should, you know what I mean? I totally agree that managers shouldn't direct what sound they should go. It definitely shouldn't be that, but I totally agree that y'all should be in there and just kind of like, listen, because sometimes we get fucked up in the ears. We're listening to the same damn song over and over and over again. But when you guys come in and you're like, hey, that sounds good. Oh, no, that sounds good and shit.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. And it gives the artist a sense of what the audience likes and what they want to
mhm.
see. Honestly, like as intimidating as it is, your audience wants to see you grow and they want to see you make new shit.
Mhm.
So
No.
if you had that extra ear, it'll really help to your advantage as well, you being an artist too.
Yeah, no, definitely. It helps out with you guys. Like, honestly, like, I think you mean that's another question. Is it important to have many people to reference to? Like, for instance, like, let's say you finish a track, and for like, do you, as a manager, would you send it out to a bunch of like other managers and see what they think, or that you think that should be more of the artists to do that with their other producer friends?
It depends. It really depends, because I think you really have to give your best material or something that you think you need a second opinion on to people you really trust. Like, it could be another, or it could be another artist, or it could be just like a close friend somewhere. But honestly, I would keep that circle tight if you intend on sharing music, because there was an artist recently. I don't know if you're familiar. His name is More Kismet. He's a 14-year-old producer, and he's been signed to Never Say Die a bunch of times, and he's incredible. Yeah. But he sent his music out in, I think it was a Discord group, and one of the people in that group leaked it before it was ready.
Shit.
Yeah, and once people find that out, it'll spread like wildfire, and they're like, "Oh, new song by this guy," and it can really stress you. So I would definitely.
I was gonna say, do you think it's a bad thing though? Like, if it spreads wildfire and it's good, like, wouldn't you be? I know you'd be pissed because it got leaked. It's not officially out, but what if it got good reactions? Then what's your opinion about that?
I mean, in that case, if it does get good reactions, then I'd just say fuck it and release it. But a good example of that is Lil Wayne with the Carter 3. Was that?
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about that shit. Oh man!
A week before it was supposed to release, so Lil, fuck it, you guys can have this, and I'll call that a mixtape called The Leak. So it's just like songs, like the song "I'm Me" was supposed to be on the album, but it got leaked, so that was part of the mixtape. He's the only artist I've ever seen who has an entire album leaked the week before it was due, then repackage the album, release it, still goes platinum and #1. Like, that's
fucking genius.
That doesn't happen.
Nah, not today. Not fucking today. Everybody be like, well, it's the same shit. Why are you repackaging and all this? Like, that's so fucking smart for Lil Wayne to do that shit. I feel like people need to do that more often. Like, honestly, like, I think, it's tough because, like, this kind of pays your bills, right? You dealing with a manager, like with artists, and shit gets that free. You know what I mean? It's tough, but what can you take advantage of, like, free things? Like, what would be good examples for artists or management teams to do with their artists for free? Like, what do you recommend for artists to do that?
So, do you mean as far as like releasing music or just content?
Yeah, like releasing music, or like content wise, like either like free lessons, or like what I mean, or I don't know, something like that. What do you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, as far as releasing music, you can always, thankfully, SoundCloud is still here and it hasn't died out yet.
Yeah, not yet.
But it's on its way, so keep an eye on that. But you could release music to SoundCloud, and people still do it, and they get tens of thousands of streams. Or you can, like you said, like teach lessons. You can throw up a Twitch streams and like do a production session and just ask for feedback and saying, hey, what sounds do you want on this? Then maybe we could just do like a production session with your fans. There's honestly a lot of ways you could do it. Like TikTok would be fantastic, even though it's still free, and people haven't started putting ads in there yet. So you're still like at an early window.
Oh, for sure. I think people need to be on fucking TikTok right now. That's like the most like free organic reach you're gonna ever get right now.
Yeah, I was talking to another marketing agent about 2 weeks ago, and they looked at Wash's profile, and the first thing he thought of, he's like, these guys have to be on TikTok now. Like
I
that.
totally agree.
Yeah, and the majority of the audience on TikTok is still like kids younger than 16. Like there's still a lot of, they're just absorbing this information, and it's an easy way to like launch yourself on a platform. So it's honestly just creative ways that not only fit you, but just a ways that the audience can relate and interact with you as well.
Why isn't Wash on TikTok? Is it just something that they're not, comfortable with? You know what I mean? Or
Well, I mean, that's a tricky situation because we're still trying to learn the software and how we can use it to our advantage.
Mhm.
But honestly, at the same time, we just have to do it and just take that
Yeah.
risk. We have plenty of content, but we were just thinking a little bit too much on how we were going to execute it. But we just have to drop that and just do it, because you'll just have more of a genuine response that way instead of just planning it out saying, I have a song out on TikTok or a video out on TikTok. You should listen to it now and stream it. But having that impersonal approach really makes you stand out above everybody else.
No, I think that's a very important point right there, because it's like Gary Vee. I love to fucking talk about Gary Vee because he's fucking awesome. He says you are yourself is your niche. How you personally are is your niche. Whatever you are is your brand, correct? And
100%.
so yeah, and so you just gotta you just be you. Like that's how you're gonna be unique of yourself. And I definitely think Wash is like that. I think they're funny. I see them on their fucking stories. They fucking are crazy on stage. It just looks insane. Like I can't imagine being a manager. I think it'd just be like fucking tequila shots every fucking day, and it just a mayhem. Just so much fun though. But you know what I mean? It's so cool, dude. I think it's fucking amazing. Like, I don't know, like what.
A lot of times that I was just sitting like behind stage or just on the side of the stage watching them perform, I've had like those proud dad moments where I'm just staring at them like, oh my God, they're incredible.
Yeah. No, you have to, man, because you're part of the team. Think about it. It's honestly, there's no one does it by themselves. They always have a crew, and you're part of the crew. That's why I tell Tori, I was like, your family. You're just like, we're all in this together and stuff. And you mean that too? And then that's what are you in the future? Are you going to try to build more of a team, like someone that handles, like for instance, you are literally just doing management, and there's someone doing social media because are you doing social media as well for them or?
Every now and then I do, but that's mostly their domain. Yeah.
Okay.
People. But
nice.
Later on down the road, once everything does take off, which I hope, knock on wood, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually we'll get to that point where we need to have a marketing team. We need social media. We'll need like a publicist so that they don't look bad on TV or some shit like that. But it's really about having those ideas early on, but not implementing them just yet until you have the right people in place who believe in that as much as you do.
Okay. So if like, for instance, like right now, if I told you, I'll give you the funds, but you can only pick one person to, one category to help you run this thing, what would you say? Like what would be your partner? A PR firm or like a social media manager? Like what would you pick?
I would pick right now would be social media.
Social media. Okay.
Because right now social media is dominating everything. And that's take in the news. That's where people go to get a laugh or just get away from reality. But if you invest more into social media and the marketing side of everything, but I would put social media first before anything.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's so important that, there's TV shows going on social media like IGTV and stuff. Yeah, no, I think that's very important to take advantage of that right now because everybody's home. No one's really, going out as much. When the COVID-19 ends, what's the first thing you're going to do? Like you personally? You go get a beer?
Oh, shit. I got one right now.
Oh, hey. Damn, you should have told me. I would have got my fucking beer. Damn, dude.
Yeah, I might need so we can crack one open in a bit.
Yeah. Fucking.
First thing I'm going to do when COVID-19 hits, I'm jumping headfirst in a pool and just cooling off because all the pools are closed.
Oh, yeah, because of that shit.
I'm so badly right now.
Yeah.
Being next to a pool. And then after that, just get dinner and maybe shots at a bar or restaurant or something and just celebrate everything being over.
I know, dude. I don't know how this is going to be. Like, what do you think it's going to be like after this, like, everything's open? Do you feel like do you feel like it's going to be awkward a little bit with, personal touch or something like that?
I definitely think personal touch, it will be awkward because right now 90% of the people in the country think that that it's way too early to be opening up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, of course, we're not going to be shaking hands, which is very awkward.
Yeah, especially at business meetings. What are you going to do? Like, do like some weird handshake? I don't know.
Like, just maybe throw some elbows or something.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be so fucking awkward. I don't know.
It will be. I mean, people are definitely not going to stay apart, but I'm probably, if someone goes in at a hug, I'll probably like, oh, I don't know just yet.
Yeah.
But, yeah, people are going to be touching less, which is really weird.
Yeah. In a weird, they even say, like, when you're a baby, that's the most important thing is, like, human touch and being connected to one another. I felt like definitely in festivals, you and I have been to festivals, and it's like that personal, like, hey, what's going on? Like giving hugs and just being right next to each other in the crowd. Do you think that's going to affect performances for artists, like when they're DJing and stuff, like that people have to be 6 feet fucking apart?
Yeah. It's going to be weird because if people are 6 feet apart, the audience is going to look empty from the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Really shitty feeling when you work your ass off and you get played at a festival and people are just 6 feet apart and you're like, wait, is there 10,000 people here or 1,000? Because it looks like less than that.
Yeah, it's almost going to look like, Wash is going to be up front, and it looks like they're going to be like doing like a yoga session. Like in yoga sessions, they all have to be spread out. It'd be that way, which would be cool.
Yeah. Like one of my to do at festivals when I was like going to festivals every single month was I love putting like small people on top of my shoulders and letting them ride around and see the stage far away. And then no, I can't do that right now, and it kind of bums me out.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's going to take a while? Like, how long do you think it's going to take? How long it's going to take for people to get back into normal reality?
I'm guessing at least 5 to 6 months. Like, it's not. I hope it's not going to take a year, like they're saying on the news. Because I mean, I want to go to a baseball game or a basketball game or a festival.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything going back to business as usual for at least 5 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Fuck, dude. So, I don't know. That's hard. That's hard to think because it's like you go to like all these events and stuff, and you're so used to like being with people, and then right now it's like you're stuck at home. You're not really if you hear somebody cough, you think you fucking get the goddamn Rona. So it's like you know what I mean. It's, but you know what I mean. I just I thank you so much for being on here. I appreciate all your help. You've helped Tori and I so much when it comes to like advice and stuff. It was so cool to meet you at the studio. I think it was like the funnest time ever, just playing. Just like the best feeling is like for me playing my music, and then everybody like you guys like jam into it. I would just like appreciate your help, and I don't know, like anything. Are you doing like any courses and stuff, like teaching people how to like manage or like what I mean? I think that'd be so fucking interesting for you to do that.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to teach people how to do this.
Okay. Should they hit you up on Instagram?
Sure. They could hit me up on Instagram, or they can reach out to me via email. My email is chris@wearewash.com. And
Okay.
you can hit me up on Twitter. I have the same social media name on every platform. It's Where Is Chris At?
Yeah, I love it.
Part of my personality too, like when I was in college, I would have a bad habit of doing. Have you ever heard of an Irish goodbye?
Oh yeah. You just like leave. Yeah.
That.
That's so funny. Just like order a beer and then take off. Just like fucking. No, well, dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Actually, I have one more question. Is like my routine question. What would you do? What are you gonna do when you retire? Like, what's one thing you would want to do when you retire?
Ooh, that's a fun one. What am I gonna do when I retire? Man.
I know it's so fucking early to think that. It's kind of an asshole question. What are you gonna do? You just started your career. What are you gonna do when you retire?
What am I gonna do when I retire? Man, I would love to live in a different country for maybe a year or two. Just maybe when I'm 70, just like go backpacking through Europe, or maybe spend time in Africa. Or
Hmm.
I would love to live in Japan for a year. Like that's one of my goals.
Hmm. That'd be so sick. That'd be so, especially the food. The food over there is fucking killer, man. I've never been in Japan, but one of my homies, he was a Navy. He's like, dude, the sushi out there, it's on another level. So,
Yeah,
fucking thank you, Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning in the Electric Dreamz podcast. The shit's
yeah.
gonna be on Spotify. I'll post it up later and stuff. But any other plugs?
I actually do have a few more questions that people ask me on social media, but they're not
Yes. That's it. No,
quick.
no.
Like, um, Sarah asked, "What keeps me motivated and grinding? Why is it important for what you do?" And we did touch on this earlier. Is just remembering why you started and keeping yourself motivated to make something new every day, even if it's just building blocks. Like Nipsey Hussle said it best. He's like, if you build a brick every day instead of building a brick wall, eventually you'll look up and you'll see a house. Like,
Beautiful.
you'll just build different blocks as much as you can every single day. And then you and we answer the question about what you can do about live streams because they're pretty overdone at this point. And
Yeah.
Malachi, who is a buddy of mine from back home, he asked me, please share the importance of music licensing and syncing.
Ooh, that's a good one. We never
Yeah, that's
hit
a
on
big
that
one.
topic.
Sure. And I'll try to briefly like describe it. So basically, licensing and syncing, especially as an artist, it's pretty fucking important. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
lie. Not only does it give you the chance to use other people's music for remixes or plugs, but it gives you the chance to get paid as an artist too.
Hmm.
So basically what the license is, it's for the audio only. It's just for strictly the music. Like let's say that what if you did a San Holo remix? You would
Yeah.
have to reach out to whoever was in charge or owns the music and just ask for an inquiry and ask them, hey, how much would it cost to use this for this? And they'll give you a figure and you work with it from there. But the syncing is for music for video. So then
Mm.
example of this was our last live stream that we did with Wash. They did an Afrojack remix and dropped it in the song. Once
Hmm.
we do the whole live stream up on YouTube, the copyright police came down hard on that one song.
Really? Just over
Yeah.
that shit? And then they just like, did they stop you guys' live stream?
No, they didn't stop the live stream. They
Oh,
just
okay.
they either said, "Hey, you could mute that part out of your video or take
Hmm.
the video." So we said, "You know what? Fuck it. Just mute that part, leave the video, we'll be good."
Yeah. It'd be so funny. Just stop something underneath. Like a
But
cartoon song.
but it's important for you, especially as an artist, because it helps you get paid. Because
Yeah.
even now, every 1,000, not 1,000, for every 1 million streams you get on Spotify, you get paid $3,000. And it doesn't
Really?
sound
For
and it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're an artist as big as, let's say, Cardi B or The Baby, and you get tens of millions of streams a week, that money adds up quick because people
quick.
use it for like video games, for ads, and Do you know who Lick is?
Lick, yeah, he's a DJ, right? DJ producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a heavy bass kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Loves ramen, but but he had the chance to write the soundtrack for the video game Valorant. And
what? How the fuck you got that gig? Shit, that's cool, man.
That was huge on his part.
Yeah.
But if anybody who listened to that song wanted to remix it or use it for a different ad, they would have to hit him and his management or his label owners first in order to get permission. And once you do get permission, for you.
Oh shit. Okay. So that's thank you for fucking sharing. I didn't know that, like, with the whole, like, I know like some of it, but like how you can go so broad. You can go to video games, movies, like it's just more than just like your music video and Spotify. You can branch out to so many fucking so many you know what I mean, so many places, platforms and shit. So
yes, sir.
Cool. Any more questions that anybody was looking into?
I think those were all the questions that I got so far. Yeah, I think that about covers it on my end.
Cool. Well, I'm good. Thank you, dude. I fucking appreciate all your time, man. I know you're fucking busy. Thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who sticked around for this live stream. I appreciate it. It's gonna be out. We'll put it out. I'll put it out later today. I'll let you know when it comes out. And thank you, man. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, man. Any plugs for Wash?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, what they got?
So they dropped a song on 420. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
oh yeah,
go listen to that, and add us on all social media. We're more than happy to talk to you. And what else? Yeah, just feel free to follow us on Spotify. We have, and we couldn't have gotten this far in music without our friends at Moon Landing, that blog. Job. The Artist Path, they do a damn good job with like helping you get networking and mentorship from other artists and other people in the business. And just keep doing your thing, man. Never give up on your dream. That's the most important thing. Like, no matter what setbacks you have, maybe you do have to get a 9-to-5 job at some point just to pay the bills. But as long as you keep that dream in mind, it'll never die.
Definitely. Hustle, guys. You mean, I take my word, guys. I love Wash's shit. They're fucking crazy. They're awesome. They have such a unique sound. And Chris, you're fucking killing it, brother. So thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. We'll see ya. See ya, Chris.